Welcome everyone to another episode of Pros Pro Bono Meets the Volunteers, in which we're speaking to some of the more prominent volunteers of our program, especially the people who contributed a lot, come from all over the world. Today it's a great pleasure to welcome Santiago Valencia Arias, comes from
Colombia.
Colombia. Okay, great. So welcome Santiago, welcome to the show. Tell me a little bit about yourself to begin with. You're a translator. How long have you been a translator? How did you find your way into this job?
Well, actually, my profession is mechanical engineering, but I've loved languages for a long time. I speak different languages. I've studied languages as a formal profession too. I've taught languages, and well, I started last year in the business of translation, and I had the big opportunity and the massive experience of getting into pros pro bono. And so I've been so far this year and a little bit of back the year before translating and contributing to this amazing program. And actually, with them, with Pros Pro Bono, I've gotten a lot of information very important when it comes about the industry of translation and the linguistic industry in general words. So basically, that's my experience so far.
Wow. So how does a mechanical engineer, after years of study, did you build anything? Did you build any bridges or machines or anything?
Well, yeah, most likely machines,
Okay.
the
So
energy sector and stuff.
what happened in your brain one day to suddenly think, okay, I want to leave all of that after studying for years and go and do languages, even if you knew languages very well? Why did you decide to actually switch career?
Well, I don't see it as an actual switch because I'm still translating technical, so I'm in the same industry but in a different approach. And I consider it was important for me because I observed that the world is interacting in a different way with itself. The different cultures of the world are interacting together. That gives the opportunity to different markets to act at the same time in the global scenario. So for me, opening myself to this new industry is the opportunity to be up to date in what's happening in the world.
Okay.
So I feel very comfortable and I feel safe being in a industry like this one where I can understand the world at first hand.
Well, I think that's representative of a shift in the way we see our roles because in the past you would do one job and do that job for life. And now we've all got plural professional identities. I'm doing this job, I'm a translator, I'm a kind of teacher, I've been a writer. And I think, like you say, we all have these multiple identities within us, and it's good to give them all some expression.
Well, you mentioned something that it might be a little bit difficult to think about, and it's the role of every individual, that the role that we play in the society. We are all globalized, right? So it's critical and it's difficult to consider it, but it's important to think like, what am I doing with my profession to contribute to the world that is getting integrated more and more with the time.
Okay. Now, I also happen to know that you're at the university in some capacity. Are you teaching there, or are you part of the admin staff? What's your role there? And where, which university exactly?
Well, I graduated from EAFIT University in Medellin. Well, what I do is I try to contribute with volunteering programs. I'm active in the pastoral group, which is Catholic, but I'm not like very into like working professional there. I have my own business related with linguistics, like teaching languages and the agency of translation. But I contribute as much as I can from my company, but not really like very into like formally.
Okay. You mentioned languages in the plural. What are the other languages you haven't told me about?
Well, I speak officially also besides Spanish, my native language, English and French. I'm also improving my German, and I have a good base of Portuguese and Italian. So
That's pretty good. Pretty good. So could you have this conversation in French? I won't test you now, but could you do this in French?
oui, je peux le faire quoi.
Yeah, okay. Maybe the next time we'll do it in French. That's very good. Okay. And how did you
Perfect.
come across? You mentioned that you came to us about a year ago in Pros Pro Bono. What was the first contact that you had? Was it on social media or was it through the pros.com website? How did that happen?
Yeah, I was quite lost. I mean, I knew what I was looking for, but I didn't have any tools by the time. So I started looking for like different agencies when it came about freelancing, for example, and remote work. And I came across with pros.com with this amazing platform for freelancers that specify their job in linguistics. And with them, I realized that they were pros pro bono. And actually, in another agency that I really liked a lot and I wanted to work for, they asked me in the application for the pros profile. So it was like, okay, pros has an important participation in the market of freelancing related with linguistics. And I went deeper into pros pro bono, and I realized that the values and the principles and motivation of pros pro bono were quite interesting and were very alike with my personality and what I was looking for when it came about the role that I wanted to play in the world as one. So I joined, and ever since I joined, I've been like massively receiving a lot of abundance and blessings from all the information and the clearance that I understand now, being part of this amazing community. Actually,
That's fantastic. So tell me a little bit more about what you mean when you say you've been receiving blessings. Are great, but difficult to pin down. So what exactly do you get out of it every day?
well, yeah, Pros Pro Bono is a very big community of a lot of professionals, very experienced people that understands the industry and also are sensitive about the reality of our world. So when I know blessings is like a little bit general, but if you think about belonging to a very professional scenario like pros pro bono, there is a lot that you understand. When you are getting into a new industry, you don't know what you're looking for. You don't know what you truly need. You don't know what you don't need. Yes. But with this amazing community, I've gotten to understand what's relevant, what's important, what is not necessary to pay attention to. So it's all about experience and expertise, actually.
Okay, great. And are you very active? I don't check this every day, but are you a very active member of the WhatsApp groups?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't write too much, but I look for like the most of the time, and there are many interesting conversations. And it's very nice also like the social part of this because it's not only like working and translating, it's also the social part and how we are uh, being part of an important community that it's caring about itself. So when it comes about, for example, mental health and emotional health, is very important to count with people, even though they're far at the other side of the world, that understand your needs and the reality of what happens with you and with the rest of us.
So you're talking about a sense of connection, which I agree is a very important thing. And also one thing I think that we sometimes don't even notice, which is that in this group, there is no conflict. I mean, this is a social medium, and we know that social media can be, especially when left alone, can be quite conflict-ridden zones. Arguments can erupt, ego, personality clashes. But in our community, without anyone laying down the law or imposing any rules, it seems to be working very well. Maybe we're just very nice people.
Well, I think to start, there is a great leadership, and it starts from you, Andrew. Like I have to say, you have very good leadering abilities, and that's one important thing because from the beginning you understand the general norms, to say it somehow, on the interaction with others, and from there we are inspired to be a very healthy community because everybody is like looking for helping others and giving companion to others instead of trying to uh, criticize, judge, or determine the behaviors or the ways people should be. It's more about that support, you know. So I agree definitely.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words. I'll take that. Maybe I'll edit it from the video, maybe not. Okay, see how I was feeling that day. And finally, I wanted to ask you about this. So within the group, we've got different, we have ambassadors, and you've become an ambassador to Colombia, which is like
Yes.
looking for new clients within that country, countries that I can't necessarily access. We also have what we call ninjas, who are people who take on specific responsibilities. And we also have crews, which are like committees, but we prefer the word crews. And you've been at the head of the onboarding crew, which is essentially making the onboarding process easy for new volunteers because there's quite a lot to learn. Like in any mini culture, any ecosystem has its own rules, its own guides, its own literature. And now we have quite a lot of stuff which people need to know before they can start. So, what was it about that role that attracted you, and why did you want to step forward and take over a leadership role of your own?
Well, yeah, that for me, the project is amazing. I mean, I have to say it again. I really thank you a lot for counting on me about that project. Um, I consider it's very relevant and important to make things easy for the people who's getting new on this industry and this program, Pros Pro Bono, and this project about getting together this course. It's been an incredible experience. I never doubt on that would be an amazing opportunity for me for learning, for sharing my knowledge, my leadership abilities, I guess. And it's been an amazing experience with all the contributors, all the information that we've gathered, all the amazing experiences, and yeah, everything that we're doing and putting together, and the outcome that I'm pretty sure we're going to offer once this is done, it's gonna be massive and very useful for people, even for the experienced ones. I'm pretty sure that all this information is gonna be amazing and very useful to understand the reality of translation industry and what we do in Pros Pro Bono.
So, and within that group, we talked about leadership, but you've also got people from Nigeria, from Uruguay, from Brazil, from Argentina, I think from Portugal, from France. Quite a multicultural group right there. But again, you've made it look very easy, and it's not an easy thing necessarily to gather people together and get them to do things out of the goodness of their heart, because they're also all volunteers, but you've done a tremendous job. So I just wanted to thank you for your time today and for everything you've
Thank
given
you.
to the project. And it's great for us to have you on board.